Thank you all for hosting this forum, and indeed, you face a Herculean task. My name is John Owen. I'm a retired public safety director and police chief. I agree with the previous speaker who said we cannot cut our way out of this mess. You're going to have to generate revenue. If we're going to continue to enjoy having our roads plowed, our roads patched, our court system operate, the Public Defender's Agency, the state troopers, the DAs, and on and on and on. We can't cut our way out of this. We have to generate revenue. And so I encourage you to utilize the earnings from the permanent fund. It's a rainy day account. And folks, it's raining. I also encourage you to consider some other source of revenue generation, such as an income tax. Both of these could sunset if the price of oil recovers to where it was. Nothing has to be permanent. But for a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, I suspect you're going to have to use these revenue generating mechanisms, and I encourage you to have the courage to do so. The other thing I want to talk about is the Department of Corrections. I studied the excellent report that Commissioner Williams generated. He and I met here in Palmer and visited for a couple of hours. And if you have not read the Department of Corrections report, you must read it. People are dying in custody, and that should never happen. I say this with almost 30 years in law enforcement, and I never had a prisoner die on my watch. People should not be dying. And so I urge you to support Commissioner Williams and the governor. They've got tremendous, what I call organizational cultural issues in that department. And they have to be taught, like I practiced police work for all those years. You treat the other person like your brother, your sister, your aunt, or your uncle. You don't treat them like objects. I'm incensed by this. And so he's going to have tremendous cultural resistance, particularly from the union. And I'm a pro-union guy. As he tries to institute change, he's going to have revenue, and he's going to have the support of the legislature, as well as the governor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Vince Beltrami, followed by Christopher Kirka.
Good morning, folks. I am a resident of District 28, but I happen to be out in the Valley this morning, so thank you for allowing the public to testify. I appreciate it. I'll try to be brief. If you guys were to cut, and I'd actually like to just say, I'm presently Alaska AFL-CIO. We represent 55 to 60,000 members in the state, 5,000 of which are registered union voters in Senate District F. But if you guys were to cut $1 billion from the budget, you'd still have about a $3 billion hole to fill. If you don't do something with revenues, and a portion of earnings of the permanent fund will burn through our savings in a couple short years, and that, of course, will be the end of our beloved PFD checks. They'll be gone forever if we don't do something. Unless you believe those who think we can just wait till oil returns to $100 a barrel, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. I think we all understand that now. And you've heard from Gunnar Knapp, David Thiel, experts on the economy about what it's going to take to close this gap, and you know that what we're talking about with earnings has to be a part of the solution. We believe a comprehensive plan that includes responsible cuts to preserve Alaskan values, new revenues, and restructure the PFD so that it lasts for future generations. I want my grandsons to have a PFD when they're older. I want the members that I represent and their families to also be able to enjoy that plan. And it doesn't, so we've got to use a percentage of those earnings to cover the $2 to $3 billion that it'll generate if you spend those earnings off to strengthen our economy for the future and create a stable environment that encourages growth and employment, and that's what I think is the right sized plan. Kicking the can down the road to get past the next election, I think jeopardizes our economy and would be an abrogation of the legislature's responsibility. And I know you guys want to do what's best for the state of Alaska. I know you've got a tough job, and I appreciate that you run for office and you show up every day and try to handle this problem. So I just encourage you to consider those things, and I thank you for giving us the time to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Christopher Kirk, followed by Marty Kincaid.
My name is Christopher Kirka. I hail from District 9. I am offended and appalled that my representative didn't show up today and bailed on us. Hopefully, after this election, we can have a representative who will actually come to meetings and hear our concerns. But I wanted to thank Senator Stoltze for voting for SB 89, and I wanted to strongly encourage him to co-sponsor. It's, I guess, we'll call it a companion bill or follow-up bill, SB 191, that Senator Dunleavy has sponsored. And I would strongly encourage Representative Hughes and Tilton to co-sponsor both HB 192 and 352, the two bills that deal with parental rights and education and kicking Planned Parenthood's marketing out of our public schools. There is no reason for it, especially in a time of cutting budgets. We don't need to be funding Planned Parenthood and their abortion marketing in our school. It's ludicrous and disgusting. And I have a petition here for those that want to sign it in support of that effort. Speaking on the budget, real quick, why don't we go back to former Governor Tony Knowles' levels of budget? It's my understanding correct me if I'm wrong, haven't we not doubled the budget in the last 10 years? Yep. Since our former Democrat governor was in office. Let's cut back to those. Are those barbaric cuts to go back to the levels that a Democrat would set for his budget? That would seem pretty reasonable to me. And I would like to remind the legislators that taking the PFD is a tax. It's a little bit more insidious and hidden tax, but it is a tax. And someone mentioned earlier that budgets are a moral thing, and they are moral. And it is immoral to tax out the substance of the people. It is obscene, the ratio of state workers to private sector workers. It is unsustainable. We cannot support this size of government.
Amen.
Thank you for your time.
Marty Kincaid, followed by Clinton Serta.
He's not here. Okay.
So then that would be followed by Brian Endel.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for your service. I'm here to talk about House Bill 276. The last time I checked, it was on hold until you deal with the budget issues, but I would like to have it brought forward as a budget item. What this House Bill 276 will do will enable those that have lost their driver's license for life, or maybe it's just the first or second time, but I've been researching this for years and trying to find out the statistics that where do these people go, how are they living, and I've just gotten the runaround. But anyway, to me, it's you increase revenue by putting the people back to work with restrictions, because technology has changed since the original DUI laws. Now we have safeguards on our vehicles and other items. The counseling has changed. And so I look at it as balancing the budget, that you put these people back into the economy, then they become healthier members of the economy, their families become healthier, and the community becomes healthier. And also then they are less likely to be in public assistance, or their families or their children's. So I would like to see this House Bill 276 get off of the hold mode and put back in as a budget item. Thank you for your service.
Just quickly, those provisions are in Senate Bill 91, which are being heard this week in Senate State Affairs.
I asked the legislature to keep me updated with the different things, but sometimes it's hard to track. So, thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Brian Endel, followed by Mike Alexander.
Hi, my name is Brian Endel. I'm running for Assembly District 1, and I want to take a different approach this morning. I want to encourage you in what you do here. We're coming into some times that are pretty dark, and there's some big decisions that need to be made. We have to stand, or you have to stand on what's right, and to follow that. There'll be some times when people will come against you, and they won't be telling you the truth. You need to stand.
Oh, that's not you, that's
I understand that. And there'll be some times when they try to negotiate you out of some things. You need to stand, and stand on what's right. I'm going to tell you a little story, I guess. related story to this. You know, Moses, when he came against the Pharaoh, the most powerful man on earth, he said, "Let my people go." And he didn't negotiate with Pharaoh. He just told him what Pharaoh needed to do. But Pharaoh tried to negotiate him out of some things. Pharaoh lied to him. He said, I'll let your people go." He did that twice. 3 more times, he said, "I'll let your people go, but you have to do something." When someone tries to negotiate you out of something that's right, they're trying to take something from you. You need to stand. Now, one time, for instance, Pharaoh said, "I'll let you go, but you can't go too far." What's the purpose? And the next time he said, "I'll let you go, but only the men go." And the third time, he said, he again did the same thing. He said, "I'll let you go," but he tried to negotiate them out of something. You need to stand. Please cut the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Mike Alexander, followed by Larry, and I'm not sure, Bodex, maybe? Bodecker.
I'm Mike Alexander. I'm from District 8. My guy didn't have enough nerve to show up either, I guess. But I want to encourage you to cut the budget. The last gentleman said you have to stand tall. As far as UAA's cuts, you didn't go far enough. I'm a graduate of UAA. I'm a registered nurse. Took us $1,200 to get 3 bedrooms across 3 hospital beds across town at UAA for our nursing students years ago because we couldn't load up a pickup and buy some pizzas for people, just go over and do it, take it from Native Hospital to the UAA campus, across trip town. $1,200 in a moving truck later, they got it done. There are a lot of cuts that can be made. UAA is a land grant college, which means it's supposed to support itself. They have land. They should be using it. I think you're going to have to get somebody besides a college professor with a lot of tenure to run the program. They're going to have to hire some professional people to make them money. And that's the way it is on that. As far as the education goes, we're getting screwed. We're paying 3rd in the nation. We're getting kids that are tested at 45th and 51st in the nation. So we're not getting the bang for our buck. What I would like to do is see you take the United for Liberty plan through the suggestion 8, somewhere on page 33, roughly. That's my best thing. What it says is you change the statute that says 70% of the money will be for instructional, and you change that to classroom instructions. That would be a great step towards getting this fixed up. People that don't have money, maybe the education crowd, will learn that they will have to consolidate and learn how to make do with their cuts. And they can do that. Same with DOT. My road didn't get plowed this year. Big Lake Road didn't get plowed the first one because you gave them a whole 6% cut. Yet I'm sure they've got everybody working on that road to Juneau and one up to Ambler Mine that's probably not going to happen in the next 20 years. They're still fully employed, having a great time, but I've got a snowplow guy out of job. So that's my thing today. Cut this budget. Granted, you can use the PFD earnings, that's what it's there for eventually, but you've got 2 years to really plan this out and look at it and not do a knee-jerk reaction like the governor and the rest of the Democrats in the place want you to do. And that's what I would do if I was y'all. Cut it. It's going to take a lot of courage, but cut this budget down to 3.8. Thank you.
Larry Bodecker, followed by David Johnson.
Yeah, my name's Larry Bodecker. I'm a 30-year Alaskan, and I served my country in the Army Reserves for 6 years. And I want to talk to you people and educate yourselves about this term geoengineering. It's real, it's happening, it's dangerous. And an example would be the Black Hills flood of 1972 when they were doing cloud seeding. And I talked to a gentleman who was in on this. And when you see this story and read it, that'll explain the danger of these geoengineering, solar radiation management, weather modification programs, weather warfare. It's all the same applications. The Congress fast-tracked a bill called the Climate Security Act in 2008, so they know this stuff's going on. And it's real, and in my heart I know it's real. That's why I'm here. And I'm here to tell all of you. And in closing, I want you to go on YouTube and listen to Eisenhower's his farewell speech. He did not talk about what his accomplishments were in World War II. He talked about this very thing, the Army machine that's out there they're supposed to be defending us, and they're out there poisoning our skies, our water, the air we breathe, the soil that we grow our crops in. What more important thing is there? I mean, if we can't eat or drink and breathe the air that we're going to all just, it's just fantastic. I just hope I get it across to all of you out there that you have to look into this.
Send us the links if you will.
I'm going to give you this information package. It's all there. And if you don't do something about it, you're just as guilty as our government in the district of criminals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Larry. David Johnson, followed by Janet. I thought it was going to be Kincaid, but I'm not seeing that. Looks like Connect. Kind. So go ahead, David.
Hello, thank you for being here. I really appreciate the fact that you came out busy Orange, and I want to thank everyone else here for being here, especially because this really encourages me and inspires me. I understand your situation, and it's hard. I think we're trying to solve this thing in 1 year, and that's not going to happen. We didn't get here in 1 year, so give yourself some. So, don't try and think you got to solve this all overnight, because I don't think we're going to. But I want to talk about education. I'm back in school. I hope that you continue to fund education, and I hope you continue to believe in me and encourage and inspire me. Because last week I was offered a $50,000 job to go to California. I'm not leaving. I am staying in the state. And I'm back in college because I used to have great jobs in the state. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I've been up here nearly 30 years in construction and own my own business. And the last job I had, I was in construction. I was a union carpenter, top grade. They'd fly me out to villages, and what I found myself doing was lifting villages up off the shore to these bluffs, right? So $70, $80 million a year our federal government and our state is spending to move villages of 60 people up off the bank so that we can save their culture, and it's important. We have a huge thing happening in our world today. I recognize it standing on those bluffs, excuse me, watching our villages washed away into the ocean, and I said I have to do something. So I'm back in school, literally, to change the world. And I need your help, right? I need everyone's help. So continue to fund education. Continue to believe in me. I believe in you. I believe we can go great places. This is the best place to be on earth. But here's an example of what we're doing wrong. 2 years ago, or maybe it's been longer now, a few years ago, our past governor asked, what can we do with fish oil in Alaska, right? So I looked into it, and I contacted a customer who wanted to buy 2 million gallons of fish oil from me. We produce about 8 million gallons. We're not producing about 18 million more gallons that we could be. We're burning it for $5 a gallon when we could be selling it for $75 a gallon as a nutritional supplement. So when I contacted this customer, and she wanted to buy 2 million gallons from me, and I contacted our big bicycle and Trident, they said they can't sell to China because 2 years ago or 10 years ago they needed 2 permits, now they need 6 or 9 permits, and they're not willing to buy these permits to sell our resources. So I want you to look at other resources besides oil, fish oil for example. I couldn't sell her fish oil, so she says, well, do you have any shells in Alaska? I said, boy, do we have shells. She wants to buy all those shells and the excess that we're dumping back into the ocean and bio and all kinds of stuff. So we can really do a lot of things, but we need to get together. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Janet, it is Janet Kincaid. And after Janet is Carol Christensen.
Thank you, Shelley. I will endeavor to learn how to print. I'm Janet Kincaid, for the record. I've been here since before statehood, and I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. I want to speak up about the smoke-free bill. When we're looking at savings, smoking is cause of a huge amount of distress with people with, and I know one of the things that Shelley's looking at is reforming the Medicaid and that system.